and we should be getting started here very soon. I think if Tokyo wins this, this is his third match of the tournament. So he should sweep his group, I think. I'm not positive, though. Oh, and we're off. Okay. This is the intro stage. It's pretty straightforward. You just want to hold right and mash as fast as possible. Some blue guys in your way, some helicopter dudes. There's some small ag reduction strats. Let's see if Tokyo goes for the all the tacos strat. Doesn't look like it. He leaves one behind. He goes for most of the tacos, it looks like. Executed very nicely by Tokyo. The idea behind that strat is that we take out those helicopter guys so they don't break the highway and generate a bunch of extra lag while we're shooting all these lemons at the blue guys. And then the other big factor is these Bs. Now these Bs are where you really have to mash fast. It's one of the only ways you can really save time in the intro. The other being task cars. Looks like both players have less than 3 or less health, so we won't be seeing task cars, I don't imagine, from either one. But it's where you need to be. You need to be at 3 or less health going into the vial sequence because it's an unwinnable fight. So bonking the Bs while getting behind them does that for you most of the time. And if you don't get all the way down, you can do what, like I said, you can do task cars, which not only is a little bit faster, but also has the added benefit of bringing your health down to where it needs to be. So it looks like Tokyo's going to take a little bit of a lead going into the plane here, but here's another large RNG segment of the intro. What this plane does can really make or break your intro. So ideally, you want to be underneath that wing. It looks like Tokyo got a pretty good one. This plane's just going to have to move just a little bit. Celestinno gets perfect shit. Plane doesn't have to move at all. So now we get Vile. Ooh, outer space. Oh, he came back a little bit for Tokyo. What's he going to do for Celestinno? Pretty similar pattern. I give Tokyo just a little bit worse luck on that one, but pretty close race through the intro. So coming up next, we've got Chill, or Icy. Sorry, we're playing on the J version. Icy Penguigo. We'll come here first for obvious reasons. The Boots capsule is here, which is going to speed up the rest of the run considerably. Some would say that the run really starts at the Boots capsule, though there is some pretty cool movement tech you can do here in the bootsless part of Penguin, like slope jumps. You see Tokyo doing hops off these ledges that are sloped downwards, and you might even see him do some turnaround ones. The idea is that while walking down a slope, X actually walks a little bit faster, and so by jumping while walking down a slope, you can maintain that slope speed for the duration of your jump and extend it just a little bit. And it increases your speed enough that even turning around very slightly to get a slope jump on rear-facing slopes facing the direction you're not really intending to go, you can turn around, jump, and then turn back around and still save a very small amount of time. But now we've got the boots, so the pace is going to pick up quite a bit here. Tokyo going to go for the no-stop hallway right away. Does not get it. Bonked that bird, but it's a pretty tough strat. Celestinno goes for a little slower strat where he did let go of right, but was able to get through there cleanly. So actually probably got through there much faster than Tokyo. And then our one and only instance of mech use in the run, hopefully. We could see some funny stuff later. And then the snowball section, which is another pretty difficult section to master. Celestinno goes for the right D-boost, but comes up a little short. Gets knocked to the left and into the Penguin fight. Penguin fight is a complicated fight. There's a lot going on. He's got 4 or 5 different patterns he can do. One of which is his slide, during which he's completely invulnerable. Tokyo gets the nice ice breath start and is looking pretty good so far with some jumps. And there's your first slide for Tokyo. And Celestinno gets one on his side. Oh, I thought that was a double slide, but Celestinno was just a little early. Not only is Penguin like a pretty complicated fight, but I would say he's probably the hardest fight in the game to do fast consistently. And it's also slightly dangerous. Obviously, we have very low health here, as it's the first Maverick in the game. And his movements are a little bit unpredictable, and some of the techniques we utilize can be a little dangerous, such as shooting the gap between Penguin and his ice sculptures and things of that nature. So both players make it out of Penguin unscathed for the most part. And Togi's going to go on to Boomer Kawanger. I imagine Celestino's going to do the same, but I've seen other routes in this tournament. I've seen Eagle second, I believe. So we'll see what Celestino decides to do. He's going to go for Kawanger. This is the standard any percent route. Kawanger gives us the boomerang, which in any percent is not nearly as useful as it is in 100%, but it's an easy buster stage. Easy is relative, right? But like the fight is pretty simple with the buster and doesn't lose much time. And it's going to allow us to proceed after this in weakness order. The reason we don't do strictly weakness order is because Mandrill, the mid boss in Mandrill, is a pain with only ice and buster. You see Tokyo here taking some damage boost off the spike wall. It's actually kind of a glitch where if you try to wall kick the spike wall without pressing right into it, you can get the hit stun and the knockback and the invulnerability frames without any of the damage. So you can use that to sort of make the elevator a sleeper, where you see Celestino sort of having to dodge the instant death spikes falling on your head. But both players pretty good so far through Kawanger. I would consider Kawanger probably the single hardest stage in the A maps. Ooh, Celestino struggling a little bit with that ladder yadder, and Tokyo gets knocked down. But he's made it into Kawanger. Kawanger fight itself is a pretty difficult fight, especially casually. But when you get to the level that Tokyo's at, I'm sure he'll have no problems here. Commentator curse. But we can do what we call the Kawanger Tango, as you see on Tokyo's side, where you sort of bait Kawanger into trying to grab you, and then you jump out of it before he... Ooh, nice Doppler effect by Tokyo. Ooh, Celestino misses the grab. He's at really low health here. One more hit from Kawanger, and he's in dire shape. Ooh, the dodges. He can take a boomerang. I think the boomerang only does 2. Yeah, he's into the teleport phase here. He should be safe as long as he just stands in the center and turns and hits him. Okay. Kawanger can't teleport on top of you once he's in this teleport phase as long as you're not moving. He can, however, teleport close enough to grab you and throw you into the ceiling, which would have done 4 damage and killed Celestino. But a good save, good recovery by Celestino. And he gets a fade out. The fade out, fade out's pretty cool, I guess. It saves 20 frames. What happens is you press start on the frame that X starts to walk to the center after defeating the Maverick, and it fades the screen to the menu, which essentially just fades it to black prematurely so that it doesn't have to fade to black after the fanfare. And it saves 20 frames for a frame perfect input. Tokyo goes for the bird dupe, does not get the dupe. And we'll see if Celestino goes for any safeties here. I imagine he might grab the armor. Is he going up? Looks like he's going up. So he's going to fight RT55J, or Green Biker Dad, as I like to call him. And this is going to give him the armor. It's going to grant him a lot of safety going into the later stages of the run, especially in the fortress. The problem is it obviously takes very long to get, but it cuts your damage received in half. And you see him using a mix of lemons and boomerangs, and that's because, as you see on Tokyo's side, Sting Chameleon is weak to boomerangs. So you need to conserve your ammo. If you were to use only boomerangs on Green Biker Dad, you would not have enough boomerangs to do Sting Chameleon himself properly. So with that out of the way, Celestino's got a little bit of safety in his pocket and should be looking nice in the fortress. You might see him, I imagine, probably grabbing at least a couple hearts as well as maybe a sub-tank. I'm assuming Tokyo's going to go true low percent, which is the fastest way to do any percent. So on to Eagle stage, which is next. Stink Chameleon is weak to Eagle. And this is the stage after which we can do Mandrill, because the mid-boss of Mandrill is essentially weak to Storm Tornado. So see what we call Lag City Climb on Tokyo's side, hopefully. Yeah, he gets that good underside kick or in flames kick on that platform as he passes underneath it. Uses some precisely placed ice shots to take down these blue guys very quickly, much quicker than mashing them down in the intro. Let's see if he goes for the death kick. Looks like he's setting it up. Nails it. Very nice, Tokyo. That's a fairly precise set of movements to be able to get that kick from the underside of that platform. Saves 20 frames versus waiting for the platforms at risk of death, but it's got a boatload of swag, so totally worth, obviously. You see Celestinno save just enough boomerangs to finish Chameleon. Very nice. And into the Eagle fight. Birds are jerks, so like his sibling Penguin, Eagle has a source of RNG time loss to him. Well, we don't want to see any dives, and it looks like Tokyo's going to get 5. Maybe just 1. No, it's 5, as long as he doesn't miss any shots. Or is it only 4? Either way, it's not ideal. Ideally, you see no dives, obviously. Each dive is about a second lost. See what kind of strat Celestinno uses here. I don't imagine. Oh, it looks like he might be trying to set up for it. No, he's not going to do the Lag City Climb. He's just going to wait around on the platform. I think he might go up. This is probably the easiest, quickest sub-tank to get. Yeah, he's going to go up and get the sub-tank here in Eagle. This also sets up the platforms in a more familiar position for people who have more experience in 100%. So these platforms can be a little tricky. If you get out of sync with them, the flamethrower guys can spawn in positions you're not used to and knock you into the pit for an unfortunate death. But Celestinno has no problems. And he's making his way to Eagle. Tokyo, meanwhile, making his way through Zam's hallway. Just bonks a little bit on that ostrich, but that's a technical section we can talk about maybe in the next race. But Thunder Slimer, this is the reason we don't do Mandrill second. Tokyo gets a very favorable pattern. You want to see Thunder Slimer come down right away, because Sea Sting and Boomerangs do twice as much damage as uncharged tornadoes. So if he comes down to the ground, you can sort of spam those things into him. Looks like Tokyo's going to go for this new strat. Oh, and he nails it. It's 2 frames saved. Nailed it, dude. And Celestinno's getting a bunch of dives. Ouch. It's going to cost him a bit of time. I didn't get a count, but it looked like a 7 pattern. The most dives, if you don't miss any shots, you can get from Eagle is 7 dives. Oh, Spark Mandrill, weak to ice. His iframes actually wear off before he breaks free from his ice prison. So that's why you see Tokyo popping those shots at him while he's still frozen. Casually, obviously, Thunder Slimer, or Spark Mandrill rather, is very free. You can just unlock him with your ice shots, but with the faster strategy where you hit him while he's still frozen, he does get the option to do some moves. And if you're trying to time your shots just perfectly, a punch can throw you off, because he'll run into your shot before he runs out of iframes. So what kind of pattern Celestinno gets here from Thunder Slimer? I imagine he might just go for straight tornadoes, which it looks like he's doing. Oh, he gets a pretty good Thunder Slimer pattern. A little slow on that mash, but knocks him down pretty quickly. Tokyo with the half top, half bottom route. Very nice. Mammoth stage is a pretty straightforward stage. And it's the stage that you can do sort of anywhere in the route after Eagle. Mammoth is weak to Storm Tornado, but having already done Spark Mandrill, you could follow the weakness order from him as well. But Tokyo opts to do him in this position for some stage select ease. A lot of runners you'll see put him last for RNG farming while doing PB attempts. but there's really no time difference, other than maybe a frame or two saved on stage selects. One thing I guess I didn't mention is that after X finishes killing a Maverick, there's a fanfare that plays, and in order to start the fanfare, X needs to be in the center of the stage. Now, on stages like Mammoth, it's not a huge deal. Ooh, another fade out for Celestinno. Very nice. That is 40 frames saved from fade outs. But anyways, when you kill a boss, you want to be as close to the center as possible, because unlike some of the other games like Classic Mega, where you still want to be in the center, but you have control after you've defeated a boss until the fanfare starts, that's not the case in Mega Man X. As soon as the boss is dead, you lose control. So you want to land your finishing blow well at or near the center of the stage as possible. So now we're both on the same stage. Looks pretty good. Fortunately, Celestinno has an entire Maverick behind. You throw some swaggerangs there, pick up two big healths to fill his sub tank with. That's pretty nice. Oh, but then he misses a dash and falls in the spikes. Oh no, my dash. Oh, that's gonna hurt. So it's gonna set Celestinno back a little bit more. See Tokyo bypassing the freest heart in the game. I imagine Celestinno's going to grab that one. Costs almost no time at all, besides the fanfare. Oh, I see what he was doing. He didn't want to boomerang those healths again, I guess. Armored Armadillo. Another boss that can totally kind of screw you over. Let's see what kind of pattern. Tokyo's getting the rolls here. Armadillo rolling deep. That's a little unfortunate. That's not the worst. Armadillo opens the fight by rolling to the left wall and potentially bouncing around the room. He can open immediately upon hitting the left wall, and then after that he can open anytime he hits the ground. Ideally, obviously, he opens right away. While he rolls in that initial roll, he is invulnerable for the duration. But once you take off his armor, he can roll some more. Ooh, Celestinno gets the perfect pattern. That's the one you want to see. So now that the armor's been removed, now that Dillo rolls, he's vulnerable, though, during the rolls because his armor has been removed. Now, Tokyo on to Launch Octopus. Taking a little damage right away. That's not ideal, because Launch Octopus is a fairly dangerous stage in any percent, because there's some mid bosses here that can sort of troll you. It's pretty easy to take some damage on these mid bosses, and the Launch Octopus fight itself is pretty difficult and dangerous with a lot of projectiles and missiles flying around. Tokyo makes pretty good work with these subs, so he's going to be in okay shape. He did get a little bit of health from that first sub to compensate for the damage. Also, these depth charges are almost always in your way, so you sort of expect to take some damage there. But he's going to have a decent amount of health, barring any more mistakes, a fish bonk or something. Pretty decent amount of health going into the Octo fight. Celestino's not going to have as much to worry about because he does have the armor as well as a bit of extra health. Just get that lag light though. Ouch. That light searchlight generates a bunch of lag, so it's something you want to avoid if at all possible. Tokyo gets the swirly-less Octo fight. Very nice. Octopus does have an attack, his energy drain attack, where he sort of generates a swirly effect, a whirlpool effect, if you will, and then can drain your energy, and he's invulnerable for that, the duration of that attack. And they're pretty frustrating to see, especially when you're on pace. But no problems for Tokyo. And he's going to be, that's his last Maverick. So Zero says, hey, I found the fortress, come with me. And we're off to the Sigma Fortress. This is where the difficulty spike casually and in the any percent speed run, the difficulty spikes through the roof. And here you see the energy drain, laundry cycle, swirly, whirlpool, whatever you want to call it, from Octopus on Celestinno's side. Tokyo gets the task leap, very nice. Leap of faith. Celestinno has a pretty good Octo fight. And Tokyo's going to be making his way up to the Vile cutscene skip. You see Tokyo taking a lot of damage here. This is intentional. We have another unwinnable fight with Vile coming up. And we can sort of combine cutscenes. Normally there's a cutscene that plays in front of that first door when you touch the ground. Now, by using the ladder gap and kicking out of it and getting directly to the left wall without touching the ground, we can skip the first part of that cutscene. And then it plays in the hallway and sort of partway into this Vile fight. And there is a chance to soft lock, so you do not want to let go of start once the process is started. But Tokyo has no problems. And Celestinno making his way through Flame Mammoth stage. Burning Nomander. Ooh, Tokyo taking a bit of a beating from Vile. Oh my gosh, you got to watch out. Vile's a tough fight, right? He's got short iframes, so ideally you want to hit him a bunch really fast. Boom, 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 you know? But his movements are a bit unpredictable, and he does a lot of damage, especially at low percent like Tokyo is. 2 body bonks from Vile will put Tokyo out of commission. So I know Tokyo, ooh, he gets the nice weapon swap too, so you just see some flying fishes. Now we get the Buster upgrade. You use C-Sting. Charge C-Sting allows us to pass through enemies. Very handy in a speedrun. I hope he doesn't think he's going to do the... He doesn't have enough health. Man, he's lucky he didn't get that with with ammo. I guess if we would have got a health drop and got the Phantom Grab, it would have been fine. What Tokyo was trying to do there is the Quanger refight skip. You can Phantom Grab the door, and it's a bit complicated. I don't really want to get that deep into it, but you can Phantom Grab the door and trigger the sequence. And if Tokyo had gotten it, he would have had to take 2 bonks and end up dying. It would have been pretty funny. But Celestinno finishes up his 8th Maverick and is going to be moving on into the Fortress. And Tokyo may want to pick up health if he sees some along the way here. Yeah, see, he turned around for that little 2 health. But Spider is kind of a dangerous fight. It's a pretty big wall for newer runners. A lot of new runners struggle with the Spider fight. But Tokyo's seasoned enough. I don't think he should have any problems, barring any commentator curses. Celestinno does not get the Leap of Faith. He's going to have to be careful here because these platforms... No! Oh, he's still alive! Get out of here! Jamming her. Oh, another one knocks him into the pit. Oh, no. That's unfortunate. So, Bow Spider will spawn at the top of one of these 4 vertical lines, and then will cross any green horizontal line that he comes to on his way down. So, with practice and experience, it's fairly easy to predict exactly where Spider's going to end up and how he's going to get there. And Tokyo makes short work. I don't know if I even saw any baby spiders. So that's a pretty good fight for Tokyo. It's going to be moving on to Sigma 2. Oh, and Celestinno climbs to the top of the ladder and misses the skip. Hits start early and pauses the game for a bonus time loss. Oof, that's rough. But Tokyo making his way to the second instance of the Penguin fight, the Penguin refight. This is where birds really show their jerk colors. Oh, he takes an ice ball to the face. Again, we don't want to see any slides from Penguin. We've got 1 already on Tokyo's side. Here comes number 2. It's especially punishing in this refight. But if he only gets 2, that's a very good fight. And he gets the 3rd one. That's about average, I think. So I don't think he can be too upset about 3 slides. Ooh, jumps into the helicopter guy. See how many gap jumps you can get here. Yep. Missed the first one. Missed the second one. Missed the third one. He got 0 for 4. Oh, Celestinno in the Vile fight. Oh, he gets hit with that trap shot. Finishes him up pretty quickly. Anyways, how many dives? Let's see. How many dives for Tokyo in the refight? Sigma 2 is the Birds Are Jerks themed stage where we get both of our jerk bird friends. Refights. Looks like it's going to be 1 dive. Nope, it's going to be 2. Not bad. Pretty decent pattern for Tokyo. And moving into the Rangda Bangda sequence. Well, Celestinno makes his way through the bounce house. It looks fancy, but really all you do is dash onto the first springboard and hold right for the rest of that segment. Pretty free. It's a good kind of pattern rank to get. So we don't want to see green eyes, really. He gets the right side blue eye, which is the ideal pattern, in my opinion. And he gets a moving right eye, or red eye. Pretty good pattern. So if he gets the 1 cycle on the nose, it should just be 1 hit left on this left eye and a very good fight from Tokyo. Celestinno using the spray and pray tactic for the Koanga refight. It's a valid strategy. Nothing wrong with a little spray and pray. And he might be looking to top off here before Spider. Just take a hit right away. Didn't lose his charge. He's in a pretty good spot. He's got a sub-tank. He's got quite a bit of health, and he's got the armor. So shouldn't be any problems from Spider. Tokyo misses the skip and is going to go suicide in the pit. So what Tokyo is trying to do there is zip himself into the door while bypassing the camera lock trigger. He actually walked into the camera lock trigger, but was able to get out without touching the door. And that actually locks the camera up. So by jumping down the left side, it's actually a death pit now. And the camera lock is what triggers Dillo to spawn. So by bypassing the camera lock trigger with the ice sled, you can skip the Dillo fight entirely. Funny enough, if you jump in that room, it actually pans the camera up and will spawn Dillo anyways. So don't jump. Tokyo going for the Doppler Sting fight here. Looks pretty good. Yeah, very nice execution by Tokyo there. It's relatively new strat. I mean, the strat's been around in 100% for a little bit, but it's relatively new to any percent. So it's good to see that from Tokyo. And Celestinno has no problems with Mama Spider. Tokyo into the Mandrill refight. This is pretty much the same as the last fight. You don't want to see those punches like Tokyo just got. Ooh, back to back. Oh no, Celestinno, no! Oh, I thought he saved it. Oh man. That's not the worst death you can take. It's so early in the stage, right? But frustrating for Celestinno, I'm sure. We see Tokyo doing the fish manip. Pretty nice. By staying right as you fall down right after Mandrill, you can manipulate the fish to face to the right, which allows you to take down 3 fish with the charge spark and get a little help from the suckle fish along the way. And we have the Octo refight. Tokyo doing the fish rodeo. Looks like he's going to get one swirly right away. And Celestinno getting his fix of slides from Penguin here. Tokyo getting the business from Octo. This is not pretty. But not too bad of a fight. See if he goes top route. No, he does not go for the top route. Tokyo with the Stones of Steel. There's a relatively free big health in that top part. It's a little slower to go up there, but a little bit of safety goes a long way in this refight gauntlet. How many dives is Celestinno going to get? Looks like maybe another 7 dive pattern for him. And Tokyo takes down Flame Mammoth. Now, he's going to have to be careful in this D-Rex fight. D-Rex does quite a bit of damage with his chomp attack. Well, Celestinno misses a shot there. And he's so far to the right that Eagle actually came down off screen and he can't hit him. Ouch. That's unfortunate. But Tokyo working on D-Rex. D-Rex is a pretty tough fight. He's got to watch out for the spark ball. It's dangerous. He gets through. Whew. Close cut. That's a pretty good fight from Tokyo. D-Rex is pretty complicated. He starts to move faster as the fight progresses, so you want to try to knock him down as quickly as possible, but the boomerangs are a little bit difficult to control, right? You want them to go up, and in order to get them to curve upwards, you need to fire them while X is also moving upwards. So getting that timing down consistently is a little bit difficult. But Tokyo is on to the 4th and final Sigma stage. Celestinno is out of C-Sting. He's going to have to finish this Rangda-Bangda fight with the Buster. Oh, and he takes a death with 1 HP left on Rangda. Oh, no. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Tokyo's going for the het dog strategy. The thing about the dog is like similar to Vile, he has very short iframes. But he's weak to ice. And the problem there is that the ice ricochets can take a while to get off screen. So the idea is that you want to get between the dog and the wall and spam the ice so that the primary ice shot hits the dog in the face and the ricochets all go off the right side of the screen very quickly. Obviously, that's not always possible with the different patterns that the dog gives you, but Tokyo had a really good dogfight, and he's making short work of the Jedi here. Looks like he might have missed a couple shots, but no harm, no foul. He's got full health going into the final form, so he will be able to take 1 hit from any of the attacks. Not always the case in these 80% races, right? The lightning, X has 16 health. The lightning from the claws does 12 damage. So basically any damage prior to coming into this fight turns this fight into a 1-hit KO for the runner. But 16 rolling shields away from victory is Tokyo. Gets on the claw, no problem, is hanging on that right side. Meanwhile, Celestinno having a pretty good Buster fight, honestly. This fight is not easy to do with the Buster. But Tokyo wraps up his run with a 32.08. Very nice run from Tokyo. And he's going to claim game 1 of this best-of-3 matchup. GG to our friend Tokyo, who's not actually from Tokyo. So let's see if Celestinno has a little better luck than Tokyo did with the skip. There is a sort of safe strategy. I wonder if Celestinno will go for it. Looks like he is. He's going to take the bonk from that projectile from the top turret. Sets you up in a very good position to get the skip without putting very much effort into it. And is on to the Sting Chameleon refight. While X on Tokyo's side gazes out over the chaos and destruction he caused. How long must he continue fighting? How long will his pain last? Only the X-Buster on his arm knows for sure. Pretty straightforward fight from Celestinno. Takes down Sting Chameleon, no problem. Easy fight, easy life. Sigma 3 can be a fairly dangerous fairly dangerous set of refights, right? You've got Spark Mandrill here, who isn't always the easiest, especially for some newer runners. You see Celestinno taking a bit of damage here. He does have the armor, though, so it's not that big of a deal. And then you've got the Octo refight, which is always going to dish out a little bit of damage. I can't do anything about the game sound, sorry. And then you've got the D-Rex fight afterwards, which is also pretty difficult. So we'll see what kind of pattern Octo gives Celestinno here. See if he gets any of those laundry cycles. Here comes one. Now, Celestinno opts to wait him out. If you were paying attention, you saw that Tokyo jumped into them and then mashed his way out. That is obviously the faster way to end his invincibility from these laundry cycles, but it comes with a risk. Not only are you giving Octo health, which can potentially lead to taking extra hits, but you also have a chance to get infinite comboed by Octopus via a release timer underflow by exact frame perfect wrong mashing. So there is a chance that Octo's grip will be unrelenting, but we didn't see that in this race, fortunately. Mammoth, pretty straightforward fight, no problems for Celestinno. He gets the nice conveyor as well. Mammoth can change the way the conveyor goes, and if the conveyor is going left at the end of the fight, X will end up all the way to the far left side of the room, which could cost a bit of time. You can get most of the way back across before the door opens, but you can't quite make it all the way. See if he how he does here on D-Rex. Gotta watch out for these chomp strikes. Dishing out some damage right away. Looking pretty good so far. Does take a hit there. Gets knocked off the wall and then sandwiched by the base. He takes a big spark ball to the mouth, but finishes up D-Rex pretty nicely. So Celestinno will be moving on to the fourth and final stage with one sub-tank, I believe. I didn't see if he grabbed the Heart and Mandrill. A pretty standard suite of safeties you see a lot of players grab is the Heart and Armadillo, because it's the least time consuming. The Heart and Mandrill because it's also fairly quick, and then the sub-tank and Eagle. I know Celestinno has that, and then the armor, which takes quite a bit of time, but is by far the best safety if you're concerned about this final sequence. Pretty good dogfight so far. Not taking any damage, not taking any chances either. Ooh, nice dodge there between the sparky balls. And the dog falls. Jedi Sigma's here. What did you do to my dog? I will slice you. And we have ourselves Jedi versus a robot. I feel like we've seen this somewhere before. The Jedi fight is mostly straightforward. You see Celestinno sort of baits him up the left wall, hits him a few times as he climbs to these wall sparks, and then sort of hits him a couple more times on the way down. It's a pretty good, really good fight from Celestinno, honestly. I don't know if he missed any shots. So going in with full health, armor, couple hearts, sub-tank, he should be in good shape to wrap up this run here. As long as the claws are even halfway cooperative. Gotta get up there, though. Gotta stay up there. Oh, here comes that right claw to troll him a little bit. He's already taking a bit of damage here. Oh, he gets hit with that lightning. Better use your sub-tank now, dude. That sub-tank doesn't provide any safety if you don't use it. So that's the one thing about those sub-tanks. And then he's getting some hits in now, though. He's dishing out some punishment. Utilizing that left wall to avoid the lightning. Not always the best strategy because that right claw can come all the way over and hose you, but Celestinno pulls it off, wraps it up with a 38-39 on his timer. And nice run. Nice run from both runners. So this is best of 3, so it's not over yet. We got one more matchup, one more run, at least. And if Celestinno wins, we will see a game 3. So stay tuned, and we'll see if these guys want to take a break or something. I'm not sure. Maybe a bio break or something like that. All right, I got race spot counting down on my side, so it looks like we will be starting very soon. We see the menu dance, as we tend to see at the start of these races. If you leave the menu stationary for too long, the demo will play, and that has cost me more than a few seconds in these types of races. And they're off. Round 2, fight. Again, the intro pretty straightforward. Not a lot to say here. Just try not to bonk the blue guys. A lot of mashing, though. Pretty intense stage. See, Tokyo leaves that one helicopter, so I can't call it all the tacos, but he does get the most of the taco strat. And you see why on Celestinno's side, you see those helicopter guys breaking the bridge apart, and the particles generated from that add to the lag through that segment. So it's a small optimization, but a pretty good one. And both runners get passive Bs to start. That is unfortunate. Tokyo picks up the big health, so he's going to be okay. Celestino's going to go for, he gets the machine gun second B, so that's pretty good. The Bs have 3 patterns, and 2 of them are okay, 1 of them's bad. Right? He can shoot a machine gun, which does 1 damage. He can shoot a missile, which does 2, and he can drop his little rolling Walker friends. In which case you will actually crash directly into the body of the bee, which does 4 damage. And if you do the standard, whoa, that health dodge. If you do the standard 2 bonk strategy, double passive bees is going to result in a death. But here you see Tokyo utilizing these cars with the strat we call task cars to get his health down, because he did have to pick up that big health. That saves a bit of time, because as the car moves to the right, you can walk across it, which sort of doubles your speed, essentially. Tokyo gets the perfect ship this time. Celestinno a little bit out from under the wing. That's just a little bit of bad luck. Wild does an awkward straight jump pattern. But pretty good for Tokyo. 157 intro. That's very nice. Celestinno gets a pretty similar pattern for 203. So 6-second advantage for Tokyo coming out of the intro. And our boy Zero returns to save the day again. Again, here we have Icy Penguigo. I guess one thing I could note is that both players are playing on the J version, and that is simply because of text differences. Saves about, don't quote me on this, I hate throwing out numbers, but saves somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12, 11-ish seconds over the course of any percent, I believe, 12.5 in hundo. There are no other version differences that I'm aware of, other than a very small difference in the vial cutscene skip, probably associated with the text somehow. And you see these slope jumps. Celestinno just executed the one important slope jump. The added bonus of slope jumps, not only do you gain a little bit of speed from a slope jump, but you also gain a bit of height, which allows us to reach that ledge a bit ago that we would otherwise have to climb up onto the next step to reach. Oh yeah, the English text boxes are huge. That's right. So Tokyo nails the no-stop hallway this time. Pretty cool strat. The way it works is that Celestino just mashes through. That's good too. But the way the one Tokyo did works is that X's Buster when fired from a dash stance, is actually extended out in front of his hitbox by quite a bit. And you can sort of use that to deposit shots inside of enemies, and you actually get a double hit on the flying enemy and the flamingo in that sequence. It's a pretty cool strat, but pretty tight. And you see Tokyo utilizing these dash lemons that I neglected to mention in our last race. He's getting another pretty good penguin pattern here. It's one slide so far. The second slide for Tokyo. Celestinno getting his fair share of slides. But very good fight from Tokyo. I didn't see the kill time, but it looks really good. This is a sub 5 split? No, not quite. 5 flat. 5 flat dot 9. Like a 5:05 for Celestinno. So he made up a bit of time there, actually, I think. But as I was talking about, dash lemons, when X fires a lemon from dashing, it actually does 2 damage instead of 1, as the standard lemon would. And so you see that utilized in a lot of instances throughout this run. The thing about dash lemons, though, is that you can only have one of them on screen at a time. So you got to be aware, like, where your dash lemon is. So you miss a dash lemon and intend to fire another one. Well, if that first dash lemon is still traveling across the screen because it missed, your second dash lemon will not actually be a dash lemon because you can only have one on screen at once. Tokyo executes the turtle skip very nicely, taking a D-boost from one of the turtle's missiles while inside the top of the ladder, canceling the hit stun by holding right into the ladder well and dash jumping out of it using the iframes to get through the very last turtle. Celestinno taking his time avoiding these missiles. He's not going to get the skip when he runs into the last one. But not too bad from Celestinno. Tokyo with the double gap jump and the ladder miss. Oh, man. That dash kick Tokyo just did is pretty difficult. You actually can't dash kick off the ends of those platforms that come out of the wall. So you need to get to the wall and kick off the wall before the platform comes out. See some zigzag action from Tokyo. Pretty good stage, I think, from him. 443-ish door, 42 maybe. See if he can execute the tango here. Celestinno having a bit of trouble on his outside climb, but nothing too serious. He is going to be a little low on health. Coming into the Kwanger fight. Oop, Tokyo takes a hit there. Gotta be careful now. I can't tell if that's 4 or 5 health. Oh, it was 5. Otherwise, he would have been toast. But he escapes by the skin of his teeth. 1 HP left. 1 grain of rice. And we'll be moving on. The Celestinno comes in here with a bit more health than he had last time, so let's see if he can get the dance this time around. Nice sub 730 Kwanger time for Tokyo. Pretty good pace so far from him through some of the harder sections of the early game. Well, I guess the only hard sections. This is the early game. The whole early game's pretty hard. Oh, Celestinno gets thrown. Fired a shot the wrong way, but should be able to wrap this fight up. No problem. Well, Tokyo makes his way into the cave. You see he fires this sweeping green shot across the top of the cave, and that's to prevent as many of these falling rocks as possible. The green shot actually travels a bit slower than the blue shot, and so it's ideal for that sort of sweeping action across the top of the cave, eliminating any rocks that may have tried to come out while it was there. It's a little health top off. I'm sure he was trying to avoid that, but not a big deal. Some very small time loss. Some swaggerangs on Tokyo's side. Celestinno again going to climb up and get himself some armor. Add some safety to that very, very dangerous late game. The ideal green biker dad fight here is 18 boomerangs and 5 dash lemons, which would leave you with 10 boomerangs left for Sting Chameleon himself, which will do 30 damage. Now, that coupled with one of those dash lemons I was talking about is enough to finish the fight as quickly as with all boomerangs. So, in this game, all enemies take 3 damage from their weakness and have 32 HP. So, by hitting them with 10 shots of their weakness and 1 dash lemon. And you'll see that in some of the other fights where the dash lemon actually travels faster than some of the other weapons. And so you'll see runners open the fight with a dash lemon to get that first hit just a little bit quicker and then finish the rest of the fight with their weakness weapon. Another good-looking Lag City climb for Tokyo. You might be able to tell why we call it Lag City climb. And again, this is that same principle I talked about, how X's buster is extended in front of his hitbox while he's dashing. You use that same idea to deposit these ice shots inside of these blue guys. Ooh, Tokyo opts out of the death kick this time. Decides to just wait. I was not expecting that. But I don't blame him. It's a really risky strat, especially in a race setting like this. So respectable strategy. And you'll see here on the Eagle fight, Tokyo's going to open with Buster and then proceed to UC Sting. Getting the hover pattern, which is pretty good generally. For the most part, Eagle's going to come down after the hover, and Tokyo gets a diveless Eagle, so I think he's on pretty decent pace right now. You can tell if he's ahead or behind his PB. If his split timer turns red before he splits here, which it did not. So he is ahead of his PB currently. Very nice. Oh, and what happened to Celestinno? I didn't see. Did he die somewhere? Or did he just get here? Oh, he gets grabbed by the helicopter coat hanger. Okay, so here's these blue shots again. The idea is that you shoot an ice shot such that the blue guy spawns on top of it. And then when the ice breaks apart and does its ricochets, the ricochets will all hit the blue guy as well, dishing out massive damage. And Celestinno falls in the pit. Oh, no. Oh, man. No, Tokyo gets a good pattern from Thunder Slimer again. This is looking like a pretty spicy run. Poor Celestinno, man. That is going to hurt his timer big time. So he's going to stay low now. He's already got his sub-tank, so. But the thing he's got to watch out for now is that these platforms are going to be such that he's not really used to them. So he's going to have to be careful. Watch out for flamethrowers. And he makes his way through. Again, this you see the same idea again, where Tokyo is planting these ice shots inside Spark Mandrill, and he gets the punchless. Very nice. The idea with the ice shots inside Spark Mandrill is a little more in depth, but basically the particles cannot all hit on the same frame. So by firing early, you have a good chance to hit him on the first frame. He's vulnerable. Stormy will give Celestinno a bit of the business, while Tokyo makes his way into Burning Nullmander. Again, a pretty straightforward stage. You see the same ice shot. Ice is such a powerful weapon in this game. I think a bit more than intended. Oh, he almost falls for that half top, half bottom route again, but salvages full top route out of it. Probably didn't save any time. Going top route through that first conveyor section doesn't save very much time at all, but It does save some. And the reason for that is that these conveyors, as you see here again, some of them move to the right, some of them move to the left. The ones that move to the right you want to stay on because they speed you up, and the ones that move to the left you want to jump off of quickly because they slow you down. It's a bit of an oversimplification because there are some lag-related issues with dashing, but it's beyond the scope of this commentary. Celestinno going for the tornado strats. He's getting pinned up in that corner. Thunder Slimer comes down, says here, punish me. Celestinno going hard with the cease thing. Might have been better off to fire a tornado in that situation, but oh, Tokyo is gonna get himself a walk of shame on Flame Mammoth. That's embarrassing. As I talked about previously, you see Celestinno does get the heart here in Mandrill. I assume he did that last race too. As I talked about previously, when you finish a Maverick, you want to be in the center of the stage. Now, there's a couple stages where the stage is large enough that the camera pans, and there you have a very large area that you can stand in and still be in the center of the camera. Mammoth being one of those. So it's really easy to get a no walk fanfare on both Flame Mammoth and Storm Eagle. Has a similar property. In fact, I don't know if you could go far enough to the left or right to not get a centered camera on Storm Eagle without dying. So Tokyo making his way through the fun kart ride section. And Celestinno had a pretty good spark mandrill from what I could see. Tokyo, I imagine, is going to bypass this hard again, going the true low percent. As I said before, the fastest way to do any percent is to do low percent in this game. And that's because the only mandatory upgrades are the boots in Penguin, as you can't get around them. And obviously, even if they weren't mandatory, we'd want them because you can't go fast without them. And then you get the Buster upgrade from Zero is mandatory as well in the cutscene coming later. Tokyo gets a perfect Dillo pattern this time. Celestinno doing his swaggerangs, pick up some health for his sub-tank. Very nice fight from Tokyo. Dillo's a pretty straightforward fight. You notice Tokyo puts the last spark shot on the wall, and that's simply because for the last shot on Dillo only, if it hits him, it'll sit on him until his invulnerability frames run out, and it's a free frame perfect hit for the final hit. And on to launch Octopus, his 8th and final Maverick of the run on a pretty spicy pace, I do believe. Still ahead of his own PB, I'm pretty sure. So, and Celestinno, you see Celestinno jumping up and down on these carts. That's to avoid spawning these birds you see on the screen now. And no, God. Oh, man, I thought he landed on that cart. I couldn't tell because the 60 FPS is not coming through. But so X was a bit invisible for me there. But if you land back on that cart as it's going to the left and you try to jump off of it, the momentum from the cart is going to carry you left all the way into the pit. And you see that same wall shot from Celestinno on Dillo here. Here we have the Utaburo Sea Snake. Tokyo climbs this left pillar to mitigate some lag while he spawns. And then as soon as you can see his little horn poke through the ground, you can fire one regular uncharged tornado, and it'll take out the Urtaburos in no time. And then you try to get him off screen as fast as possible because this explosion causes lag. See if Octo cooperates, and let's cut Tokyo get a really nice 8 Mavs here. He's good health-wise, so he's getting the one swirly here. And he's going to have to wait it out because he did take damage. You can't get grabbed by Octo while he's while you're on invulnerability frames. But Tokyo's going to get an 1851 kill. That is pretty spicy. and potentially ahead of his PB, I think. We'll see if it turns red this timer. Nope, he is ahead of his PB. That's very nice. Ooh, and Celestinno gets swallowed by a sucky fish. Runs directly on. He gets that lag light again. That's unfortunate. But Tokyo into the fortress. Celestinno got Mav and a half to go, so he's got quite a bit of ground to make up, but certainly not insurmountable in this category. 1 or 2 deaths to Sigma 4. More than enough to equalize this race. Ooh, Tokyo does not get the task leap. Task leap's a bit finicky, and he goes into the pit. Oh, man. That is unfortunate. So, task leap is finicky in that it requires some subpixels to whether you make it or not onto this platform, and Tokyo goes in the pit again. Oh, no. Oh, no. You trigger the tilt. Oh, man, that hurts. But, so once Tokyo misses the task leap, now you got to worry about, and he gets the regular leap of faith this time, but after you miss the task leap, that, those platforms are very annoying, to put it lightly, I guess. They can eat your dash inputs if you let go of right or anything like that. I think the idea is that you have to be holding right for a handful of frames in order to not get your dash input eaten. And that's exactly what happened to Tokyo on the first one. His dash input was swallowed whole by the moving platform, and then X was swallowed whole by the bottomless pit. But he's through it. Third tries the charm. And he's into the vial sequence here. Gets a good vial skip, cutscene skip. You see bottom route from Celestinno. That's why the top route is not much faster. The bottom route's just totally free, right? But you do get that little bit of boost from the conveyor if you go top route. So looks like a much better vial fight from Tokyo this time. Unfortunately, he is on the far left side of the screen, which is going to cost him a bit of time making his way over to 0. Ideally, you in that fight near the right side of the screen. You have to be all the way to the right because the camera does need to catch up if you are. But you need to be pretty close to the right to not lose any time there. It's a small time loss. And gets the weapon swap again, so we'll see some of these homing fishes. This time he does have the health to go for the Kwanger skip, so let's see if he can pull it off this time. There is a $5 bounty out by our man Dragonar. Blood Rage. And so if Tokyo can pull this off, oh, he got the drop, but missed the pixel. So the idea behind Kwanger skip and phantom grabs in general is that by collecting a drop from your boomerang 1 frame before another grabbable, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see them, another grabbable item is spawned, it'll spawn into your boomerang instead of its intended location. So you can use this to phantom grab hearts, sub-tanks. You might have heard of the magic carpet ride in Eagle. That's also a phantom grab. You grab the moving platform. That's why my grabbable was in air quotes. And also applies to boss doors. So in order to perform the Kwanger skip, you need to grab the boss door and trigger it, and you need to do some funny business to lift the camera lock and spawn Kwanger. But all said and done in real time, skipping the Kwanger fight that way can save about 5 seconds. Celestinno making his way into the fortress, not that far behind after Tokyo's struggle over that pit. So not out of this race yet. So you see Celestinno taking damage intentionally there against the wall. He does have to take more than Tokyo did because he has the armor and a bit more health because of his 2 safety hearts. And the reason for that is that we're going into this vial fight again, which is unwinnable. This time, unlike the intro where it was 3 health or less, this time 6 health or less to trigger Vial's trapping shots to progress the cutscene fight here. He gets the slow version of the skip where Zero's text box opens all the way up, but still, no soft lock is a win on the cutscene skip in my book. Okay, round 2 with Penguin here. We'll see how many slides Tokyo gets. One right away. All right, he gets the double hit with the charge fire wave. That's pretty good. Is he going to get the 5-hitter? Well, there's 3. No. Is he just going to get 1 slide, though? Only 2 slides this time. So Penguin pretty friendly in the refights to Tokyo. 2 slides is very nice. 3 slides in the last fight, so not bad from Penguin for Tokyo. But he does have another Jerk Bird coming up, so Sigma 2 can still take a bite out of his timer. Oh, and there's a gap jump. Oop, this is the second one, though. 1 for 4. It's better than 0. Celestinno making his way up to the Quanger refight. How many dives for Tokyo? Looking like a big fat 0 again. No, he's going to get 1. 1 dive. What a strange pattern. You don't see that very often. So pretty solid Sigma 2 here. You know, RNG wise for Tokyo so far. One more RNG hurdle here in Rangda Bangda. You know, Celestinno has eliminated Boomer Kawanger. And moving on to Bow Spider. It's the right side red, which is not bad. He's going to stay open. He's probably going to be able to finish it here. Yeah, gets the kill. Goes for the 1 cycle on the nose. Looking good so far. Ooh, is he going to get the swag? Swag, swag, swag? No, he didn't even go for it. That's okay. A good fight, though. You didn't have to wait for any eyes to close or anything. Close and reopen or the walls or anything like that. So, good fight from Tokyo. Really good Sigma 2, I think. And Celestinno not having much trouble here with Bow Spider. Seems to know his way around this fight. Tokyo, no problems with the Dillo skip this time. Goes for that 4th place spark. Into the Doppler effect chameleon fight. And Celestinno wraps up Mom Spider. No problem. So you see this Doppler effect strategy. As I said previously, charged, or no, not charged weapons. Regular weapons. Regular weakness of enemies does 3 damage. Well, the charge variation does 4. Bosses have 32 health. So by hitting a boss with 2 charge hits, you can save 1 hit. And thus 1 iframe cycle, which is 60 frames, which is, this is a 60 FPS game, so that's an entire second. And in order to do that in the Chameleon fight, you enter the fight with a charge, which also hits Chameleon faster than the standard boomerang. And then you do this sort of rodeo, do-si-do move with where you manipulate the boomerangs to sort of follow you around the map and hit Kawanger, or Chameleon rather, while you're building up a charge. So you minimize the time Chameleon is off iframes while also dishing out 2 charged hits. And here you see Tokyo jump into the energy drain attack from Octo. That is a bit of a risky move. Chance to get infinite comboed. And he gets a second swirly. He's going to opt to stay out of this one. Would have added a second hit. Looks like Celestinno's getting that ugly 7 dive pattern again. That is unfortunate. Game's not giving him any breaks here when he misses a shot too, so we might see 8 dives. Oof, that hurts. Tokyo's got plenty of health here going into the last 2 fights of Sigma 3. Starts this fight with a dash shot. You can get double hits with these tornadoes, which is pretty cool. Flame Mammoth is a pretty easy boss to have a near frame perfect fight because the Storm Tornado lingers around long enough that you can have coverage when he's coming out of his iframes. Pretty handy. And on to D-Rex. Well, Celestinno takes down Rangda Bangda. He had a bit of trouble with the Rangda fight last time. Ran out of C-Sting with 1 HP left and then fell to the nose bonk. Looking pretty good so far. As is Tokyo. He's going to get through this fight very nicely. Both runners finishing up their stages at pretty much the same time. I bet Celestino's pretty happy he doesn't have to do the Buster fight for Rangda again. That was, that's never fun. So Tokyo into the final stage here. Looking at putting up another pretty solid time here, even with those 2 deaths in Sigma 1. And Celestinno takes that safety strat. Easy skip every time. Just don't jump in the room. And Tokyo's going to take on the dog. See if he gets the good pattern. The ideal pattern is Spark Balls right away. Oh, he misses the buffer lemon, so he doesn't get his ice sled off. And throws off the whole het dog fight. And you see this dog's doing his sparks on the far right side. Tokyo didn't want to take that hit, but just taking a gander at his health bar here, I think a lightning is going to take him out if he gets hit by one. So he's going to have to be careful. Not going to have full health this time as he did last time. But should have no problems with the Jedi. Again, for a seasoned veteran like Tokyo, this is a pretty straightforward fight. Just a rhythm thing, sort of, and some reading of his patterns. No problems for Tokyo whatsoever. He's going to be into the final fight. 16 rolling shields away from victory. The final Sigma boss actually only takes damage from 2 attacks in the game. That's the fully charged Buster. The pink shot does 1 damage, and the rolling shield does 2. So Tokyo gets up on the claw, gets the favorable pattern right away. Right claw's staying where he wants him to, over on the right side. And he's getting a bit of lightning, but nothing too bad. You can just hang out on the right side of this claw and avoid any damage from that lightning. And Tokyo wraps up, besting his previous run of a 3208 with a 3206 this time. So very nice run by Tokyo. That is a spicy run if you take out those 2 deaths in the Sigma 1 pit. Holy cow. Nice run by Tokyo. And Celestinno taking on the Launch Octopus. 1 more hit to go. Oh, I thought he killed him with that one. That would have been surprising, but that was just a freeze frame in the restream here. Here we see Celestinno taking the top route, top off. Didn't quite top him off, but pretty close. And is into the final 2 fights of Sigma 3, Flame Mammoth and D-Rex. Oh, hitting Flame Mammoth with his own weapon. Take that little fire wave action. Again, the D-Rex fight is a pretty dangerous fight. See Celestinno get knocked on his booty there. When the base collides with the wall, it can knock X off the wall if he's trying to climb it. And then now you see that D-Rex's pace picks up considerably once he gets below half health. but Celestinno has no problems. Takes him down, and is into our final stage. 3 fights away. And this race will be over. But Tokyo, with this victory, has clinched the matchup. And as far as I know, has gone 3-0 in groups. The group round of this tournament closes tomorrow, I believe. And so after that, the brackets will start. This is a pretty important matchup for Tokyo. Going 3-0, potentially net him a bye going into the bracket, depending on the lowest times in the tournament. 32.06 is got to be up there pretty close. I know there's only been one person to 31 in this tournament so far. And so 32.06 might get him the 2nd seed as it stands right now. But with some fast racers still to come. 1 or 2 matches left for some of our top seeds. But Celestinno makes pretty good work of the dog. Took a little bit of damage, but as we talked about, he's got a sub-tank, got a little bit of extra health, and he does have the armor. So missing a few shots here on Jedi. He's got to get in the rhythm. Looks like he's found it here. Nope, not quite, but he's dishing out some damage. Jedi, unlike all the other bosses, and he takes some damage. He's going to have to watch out. I think a knee to the face might take him out, or a lightsaber. But unlike all the other bosses, or most other bosses in this game, Jedi takes 2 damage instead of 3 from his weakness. That means you need 16 shots to kill him while having 28 ammo. And you notice Celestinno only had 2 sparks left at the end of that fight. So that's something you got to be a little careful of if you start missing a bunch of shots. It'd be leery. He's going to use his sub-tank right away, knowing that one false move could have taken him out. He gets up on the claw nicely. Falls off. He's going to have to watch out for the lightning on the return. And another lightning as he's trying to ascend again. Nicely done. Gets back on the claw. Dishing out some damage now. Just got to stay up here. Avoid getting hit. One more shot. Oh, he misses. Oh, man. Nice finish by Celestinno. Clutch. Very nice. Celestinno wraps up with a time of whatever that says on his timer. 36:43-ish. So let's see if we can maybe get these guys in here for an interview, if we've got time. One moment, please. Okay, it sounds like neither of our runners are interested in an interview. Tokyo is sick, and Celestinno needs to get to sleep. So with that concludes our broadcast for this evening of the Mega Man X and 8% tournament. I don't know what's coming up next here on Speed Gaming, but that's it from us. I guess I can take a look at the schedule really quick to let you know what's coming up in our tournament. There should be some matches pretty quickly. It looks like in about... No, I'm looking at the wrong day. It looks like at 6 a.m. Eastern, we have a race between Ikeru 4 and Butterfinger 1084. Butterfinger from Japan, Ikeru from... I don't want to guess. He speaks Spanish. I know that. So it could be many places. And then at 10 a.m. tomorrow, we have Colonel Fatzel versus Air Nathan. That's 10 a.m. Pacific. So it'll be like 1 o'clock Eastern. And then at 8 p.m. BST, I'm not sure what that means. We have Torta Diego versus Air Nathan. And then a couple matches scheduled for January 2nd, which is after the deadline. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But make sure you guys follow both our runners, both very, very cool people. So check them out. Tokyo, former world record holder of X2 and very competent X1 runner, will be racing X1 80% at AGDQ this year against myself and Colonel Fatso, who you can watch race Air Nathan tomorrow. So with that, I guess we're out of here. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to follow the runners. Thanks again to Speed Gaming for hosting this wonderful tournament for us. And see you guys next time. Peace.